Hey guys, John Bayaki down here on the lower Yuba River, and today we're going to be tying the unit Skwala. A very productive pattern here on the lower Yuba River. It's a guides tie, so it's fairly simple. So let's get started. The hooks we'll be using for the unit Skwala is a size 10 TMCO 5212, or you can go with the size 10 TMCO 2312. This will have a straighter eye on it and a slight bend to it that lets that body sit down a little bit more flusher in the water. Now this is for the female. For the male, you're going to want to use a size 12. 6/0 uni thread in camel. For our body material, we're going to be using some yarn. This product is from Cascade Yarns. And on the left we have color number 43, and this accurately matches the Skwala when it first hatches. It has a little bit more of an olive to it. On the right hand side we have color number 51. Now a Skwala lives almost over a month long, so it darkens up as it ages, kind of like a ripening banana. Now this is acrylic yarn. You do not want to use animal-based yarns at all. And also, for $3.50, you can literally buy a lifetime supply at craft stores like Ben Franklin or Joann's Crafts. For our overbody, we're going to use the best foam that's available in the fly fishing industry, and that's a larva lace foam. This foam is different from standard foam because it's stretchy and it is more durable. For our wing and head, we'll be using moose hair. Now this is quality hair from Blue Ribbon Fly Shop. They absolutely have the best elk, deer, and moose hair available. It's worth it to order it from them. And what you want to look for in quality moose hair is a shininess to it with very little underfur. For our cider wing, we'll be using polypropylene floating yarn in white. And lastly, for the legs, regular size, round rubber legs in brown. Okay, first off, we're going to thread back all the way to the rear of the hook. We'll be attaching our yarn. Cover up our butts. And we want to come up about 3/4 of the way on the hook. Right about there. Now with this yarn, you're going to want to spin it until it's like a rope. And what this does, it keeps out more water, and it also provides segmentation. You'll keep spinning it all the way up the hook. Spin, turn, spin, turn. Okay, tie that off. Next, our overwing. And before I tie it in, I like to make a little point to it. Reason for that being, I'll make a few wraps. I'll then clip off the tip of the point, and you have a little bit of a tag end that's really going to cinch it down and hold that foam in there. We're then going to want to clip just past the hook bend, so it just overhangs a little bit of the body and the hook. Cover up this a little bit more, come all the way up to the front of the eye. Bring it halfway back. We then have some clean stacked moose hair here. Fairly small clump. And you want to attach it with the tips forward about 1/2 inch. So I'll make a few good wraps here. Then I'm going to pull that moose hair up, advance the thread forward to the eye, keeping all this on top, and cinch that down right next to the eye. Now this is a half bullet head. It's not a full bullet head because the skwala doesn't have hair on the underside of its body. It's smooth and it has color to it. So we'll trim her up here. Cover our butts up. Very, very important. Don't let water get in there and get saturated. Now we're going to put on our cider, and that's our white polypropylene floating foam. Buffer tag. You want it just a little bit longer than the overbody. Okay, we cover this up. Doesn't have to be perfect. Now, we're going to dub this. And what I've done is I've taken my Cascade yarn and I've actually clipped it up and made my own dubbing right here. That way you get an exact color match. Now when you're dubbing a dry fly, you want to use very, very sparse amount of material, and you also want to spin it very tightly. This will keep all the water out. When you put it on thick, it's just going to be like a sponge. It's just going to suck that stuff right up. I think that's what I see most is a lot of dry flies are, especially commercial ties, have way too much dubbing on them. Tight, tight, tight. A little bit more and we're done. Okay, now we can pull this wing back. You want it to be very, very tight. I make 3 really tight wraps. Then I'm going to take my bodkin and I'm going to spread out this wing just a little bit, like so. A couple more wraps. And we're ready for our rubber legs. We tie it in on one side, clip it just past the overwing, for good measure. Now we're ready to whip finish. Trim the front legs up a little bit. Make sure our back ones match a little bit. This one's a little long. Even that up. The unit Skwala. by AkisTroutfitters.com.